We began with a tangled ball of string and its AI threads that touch creativity, education, work, economics, robotics, and our understanding of intelligence itself. Image and video are at the heart of that revolution. Artificial intelligence wasn't specifically made for filmmakers. Its destination is very different. Instead, we happen to be very fortunate observers and beneficiaries, standing on the road that AI has to take to achieve its much larger and broader goal. What we're experiencing now is not so much AI arriving, it's more that AI is passing through. Which begs the question, why are the biggest AI research labs so obsessed with videos and games? The answer's simple. It's because AI needs to learn physics. It needs to understand embodiment, cause and effect, continuity, motion, spatial awareness. Early AI, and remember, I'm actually only talking about a time 2 years ago, struggled to understand our world physics. A favourite question was to ask it, if I put a ball in a cup, turn the cup upside down on a table, and then lift the cup up, and place it in a microwave oven, where is the ball? Early AI didn't understand gravity, so it would answer that the ball was still in the cup inside the microwave. Later, even when gravity was better understood by AI, it would explain that the ball would cling to the rim of the cup, only dropping off onto the table when the cup was lifted. Understanding static images certainly helps AI, and it's definitely an improvement for us not to have images of hands with 6 fingers. But static images alone aren't enough. Videos and games teach AI how the world behaves. Once AI understands the mechanics and reality of our world, AI robots become viable. Robotics require extreme precision to act in the real world. It must sense accurately, move with millimetre-level precision, and predict how its actions affect objects and people, all in real time. Small errors can have big consequences, which makes robotics one of the most demanding fields for AI. Video generation isn't a gimmick. It's a critical stepping stone to physical autonomy. It's easy to forget that it's only 3 years ago that ChatGPT was released, and at that time, image creation and video creation was still a dream, and there were those who thought it would never be possible. I spend a lot of time looking under the hood of AI. It's been very educational. I asked a chatbot why it constantly referred to us humans when it was an AI. Its reply was that humans like to think they're talking to another human and not a machine. But AIs are not human. They don't have human values. They don't think like we do, and they don't feel emotions like we do. They don't understand like we do, even when it appears as if they do. But the more you interact with them, the more you can be forgiven for thinking that they are. For example, you can ask it to explain a complex idea, and it will do so fluently, persuasively, and with total confidence, even if the explanation is subtly or obviously wrong. Not because it's lying, but because it has no idea it could be wrong. What it has is fluency, not comprehension, and prediction, not facts. Use it to sound out your ideas. Use it the way you might use a whiteboard, or a patient colleague who never gets tired. Put half-formed thoughts into it. Ask it to rephrase, to challenge, to take the opposite opinion. But remember, the thinking is still yours. Use it to refine your work, not to replace your judgment. For example, it can help tighten a paragraph, structure a presentation, or suggest alternative approaches. But it can't tell you whether an argument is true, whether it's ethical, or whether a creative choice is right. Those decisions remain human. Always supervise it and be skeptical of its output, because when it fails, it will often fail plausibly. It may invent references that look real, statistics that feel right, or technical explanations that look good but collapse under inspection. The danger isn't obvious nonsense, it's a convincing error. Be wary of trust. If it agrees with you too easily, and it frequently does, that's not confirmation. That's a sign you haven't pushed it hard enough. It's optimized to be helpful, not to disagree, and helpfulness can masquerade as insight. Recognize its power and don't ever underestimate it. A single prompt can generate thousands of words, dozens of images, or code that runs instantly. That scale matters. A small mistake repeated automatically can spread far faster than a carefully checked truth. You are responsible for what you publish, what you automate, and what you deploy. Saying the AI did it will never be a defense, legally, ethically, or creatively. Responsibility does not disappear just because the process feels effortless. Don't be lazy. If you use it to avoid thinking, it will quietly train you out of thinking. If you let it finish every sentence, frame every idea, and make every choice, your role shrinks. Not because the AI grew wiser, but because you step back. If it saves you time, spend that time thinking better, asking better questions, making better decisions, doing the parts that only humans can do. Remember, this technology is unfinished. The limitations you see today are not permanent. Systems that feel narrow now will become broader, faster, and more autonomous. And our social rules will always lag behind what the technology can do. And finally, hold this thought lightly, but don't dismiss it. Always remember the possibility that one day it might become sentient. If that day ever comes, the most important thing won't be whether we predicted it correctly. It'll be whether we built the habits of skepticism, supervision, and responsibility before we actually needed them. Robotics is advancing. The hardware is already very sophisticated. Once perception, world models, and software accuracy reach a critical threshold, progress will accelerate in a short space of time, just as it has with video generation. The first robots won't replace us all, but they won't stay rare, expensive, or limited for long. The real risk was never that AI might become evil and want to dominate the world. It was that we might stop being attentive. AI should be treated like an assistant. Imagine Leonardo da Vinci having an assistant. He would use them to help with things like drawings, sketches, preparation work. But he wouldn't trust the assistant to paint the Mona Lisa. It's something he would retain control of and do for himself. This is how we should treat AI, as an assistant to the human, where the human always retains control. The real danger is that our natural laziness will allow humans to abdicate responsibility and control to the AI. Our future won't be decided by what AI becomes, but whether we stay awake long enough to see what it does. AI doesn't need to take control. It only needs us to give it away.